kind of a big day. I am going to give it just a minute or two to let people hop on and it's weird. Like this isn't something where I'm expecting a whole bunch of people. It's more this idea of me sharing what's been going on in my world and how I might be able to help others do some pretty amazing things. And it's a little bit of evolving. It's this thing that's been pressing on me for the last few years, and I'm excited to share it. I promise if you hang out, you watch for just a few minutes, I'm going to share something I hope really valuable with you, and uh, and we're going to hang out for just a few minutes. I do not plan for this to be very long. I actually plan to share with you what's been going on, what we're up to, where I might be going, and how we're going to do what it is that we're going to do and why. So I'm going to try to be as concise as I possibly can. I'm going to give as many people as possible a minute or two to kind of hop on and jump in here. If you're watching, feel free to make some comments, ask questions. But without further ado, I think I'll go ahead and get started. I know this is going to be recorded. We'll share it. And so this is what's up. A bit of a big announcement. Uh, for the last year and a half plus, I've been up to something that has become my purpose, this thing that I want to do to help and serve others. And it all started um, about 18 months ago with a question. And that question brought up something that I've been doing and really focused on for the last 20 years or so. And so that question that got asked was at an event. It was an event I was invited to hang out with some really high level leaders. And the question that got thrown out there was, is there anything that you do that's unique and allows you to live a good life? And I've never been asked that question before. I've been asked questions like, why are you the way you are? Or what is it that makes you different and stuff like that, but never this thing about mm, living a good life. And my goal is truthfully to help as many people as possible live this good life, this life that feels unburdened, it feels free, it feels at peace. And the reality is, those things are pretty unrealistic in the world that we live in, but we can get a lot closer to it. And so I looked around as that question got asked, and nobody was really saying anything. And I kind of raised my hand, and I kind of wondered, like, why is it when somebody asks that question that um, everybody's scared to talk about living a good life? Like it's almost something that you're ashamed of, that you are happy and you have joy and things are going well and that kind of stuff. I just want to make sure one thing. Yeah, okay, good. We're good on the microphone. And so um, I raised my hand and I said, "Yeah, I do. I have this thing, and it's a thing about living prosperously. And there's these seven elements of it that help me to live a prosperous life. This life where I feel like I'm kind of in this sweet spot. It's not perfect, but I know that I live in imperfect very rarely. Um, I don't get anxious over a lot of stuff. I also don't feel apathetic. I feel like there's purpose in my life. I feel like there's value to what I do. Um, and and the reason all that happens because had something really bad happen 20 years ago with a business that had been financially stolen from, questionable if you're going to survive or not. There was just all these things going on, and and through that, I felt a need to change kind of how I had been doing things. I had been very much about achievement. Look at me, hitting all my goals. and this idea that I was proving everybody wrong, that I would be successful when they thought I wouldn't. And sure enough, I was. And then when I got there, it was like, hey, this all went awry. And the reason that it did so is because um, I'd been approaching it the wrong way. I'd been approaching it in the way that the world and the environment around me had pushed on me, that there were expectations that people either believed I couldn't do or that people had set as the expectation. And um, the environment I had been raised in, grew up in, been a part of with friends, there was just this outside force on you saying, this is what you need to do and go after. Well, through that event, I actually started to ask a question that was really important. Like, is that actually true? Is that true that I need to go and do these things in that way to still achieve this life that I want to live? And I think so many of us chase this idea of prosperity as something to achieve, like out in the future somewhere. Like, if I work really, really hard, I can get there and live this wonderful life. And I don't think that's true, especially after asking myself a few other questions like, what do I believe and why do I believe it? And then finally, is it true? I think that's a really good filter for us to look through. And so, what ended up happening is I went on this 10-year kind of journey of figuring out what living a prosperous life looked like. And these seven things became these things that now allowed me to put my finger on the issue, because that's what was going on. I was feeling a gap in my world, this situation where something felt off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I just didn't feel great. I didn't feel joyful. I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't feel like there was value to what I was doing. I felt like, hey, is this what life is really all about? And so I started asking these questions. What do I believe? Okay, there's a lot of things I believe. Why do I believe them? Like, oh, like digging into that. And so this idea of digging in is something that I think a lot of us don't do. It's hard. It takes effort and time and energy. And it took me a really long time because there wasn't really anything to guide me along this path. It was just, hey, go and figure it out. And I studied a lot of folks, read a lot of books, spent a lot of time watching YouTubes, listening to various podcasts, and really grabbing a bunch of data that started to have a bunch of connection points that allowed me to start to get to some clarity on what these things were. And so these seven things have been the thing that allows me to, the second I feel like anything's a little bit off, I can go out there and go, which one? Oh, it's that. Yeah, I got it. All right. So that's the issue. Now that I know what the issue is, I can take the steps to resolve it. And having that for a long time helped me to resolve what was going on. Shared that with these high impact leaders, and they were like, hey, tell us more. And we went on for a significant amount of time during the session, after the session, throughout the 2 days that we were together, and even after that, in poking and prodding. And one of the guys just before I left said, hey, this isn't just for you, right? And that's what started all this. That's what, like, I never planned for putting any of this stuff out. I had never told anyone ever, like, not even my wife, my friends, no one. And I was just using it as like my thing to make sense of the world around me. And I hadn't really thought about it being for anybody else. And several of those folks were like, you need to write a book about this. You need to get this out to the world. You need to, like, people need to see what this is. And so that's what I'm doing. Um, I'm going to share what this prosperous human life looks like for me, what I think it may open some doors for you, and maybe we can all do something very special together. And there's no plan beyond that. This isn't some kind of, hey, come and join my thing and pay me a bunch of money. I don't have any idea what that looks like. I actually feel nudged or maybe called to go and do this thing. Because one of those seven things is spiritual growth and development. And that's an important thing to me. And I think it should be important to all of us. It was the thing that started all this, but I still felt like, hey, there were things that were within that I couldn't identify. And so I started to really put some time and effort into there and assess through those three questions, what was I missing? And some of the things I was missing was just time to think. We go so fast and so hard all the time. And so, this idea of mental strength and capability, or focusing on your mind and having this time to be curious, this time to think, this time to problem solve, this time to recover from all the noise that's out there. And then the next one that came up that was really important was time and how you prioritize it and optimize it. Your time is the most valuable asset that you have. And if we waste it, we devalue our time that we're going to be here. And our time prioritization optimization actually lead to financial security as well as personal and relationship security. And so as I dug into that, I started to realize that there were some things that were off in my world when it came to time prioritization and optimization. There were areas where I was procrastinating. There was areas where I wasn't spending enough time with the things that were important to me and people that were important to me. And I wanted to like adjust my lifestyle for that. And that's what this really ends up becoming, is a lifestyle adjustment based on this idea of fulfillment and living this unburdened, purposeful, valuable life. I think so many of us are in this, either pushing and grinding and hustling to strive and achieve this big thing at some point. And so many of the rest of us are in this confusion and what's this all about and why are we doing all this in the first place? And those two places are really the extremes. Like, they're way out here. And what I have found is that we can live in this place called the sweet spot. The next thing, so those are two, mind and time, your body and taking care of it, this physical thing that you've been given and that is highly valuable. In order for you to be as effective as possible and perform well, we must take care of it. And so, the idea of taking care of my body, its well being, and the ability to perform starts to add to this value that I get this opportunity to bring. And I believe everybody can. Next up, we have community. And this was the one where I was struggling a lot. And it's really community and relationships, not only just your immediate community, whether that be a family, a wife, a spouse, a husband, kids, but then that extended family, and then your friends, the people you work with, and the circles you run in, and the network you have, and this ever expanding circle. And so many of us that are out there putting ourselves out there might feel overwhelmed with too much, and some of us might feel very alone. And again, living in those extremes. And as we start to assess those extremes, we start to be able to identify what's happening and be able to move back from those extremes towards the sweet spot. Next up is the one that I think kind of started some of this, is because of what I wasn't feeling. This not feeling fulfilled. I've had so much joy these last 10 years coaching businesses to grow and scale without sacrificing what matters most, and not really realizing the second part was a part of what we were doing. We were more the practical, tactical scaling, stability, and making sure that we create something really special for each company. But we always looked at it through this lens of like, what does that dream and ideal lifestyle look like? And we helped a lot of people, and I continue, and I will continue to help businesses find that sweet spot of business and living life in a way that gives them joy, fulfillment, and a lack of burden. So, up next is the one that's kind of started this whole thing, and that is our spiritual growth and development. This time dedicated to digging in and finding out why inside something seems to be missing. Some relationship, something out there between you and this eternal force. For me, it's God. For you, it might be something else. For it might be nothing else at this point. But I strongly suggest not throwing the baby out with the bathwater on that one and starting to investigate. And for me, all of these things have been little steps at first. Like, hey, I start with a little thing and a little thing, and I start to find out, then I become hungrier and hungrier for it and able to facilitate more of it in my life. And then finally, the last of the seven is impact. This um, outcome or result of who you've become and what you've put into who you are, this me thing, to actually impact everyone else. The group you work with, your we, and then the people that receive the product of what you do, them. And this idea of living a flourishing and thriving lifestyle because you feel valuable to everyone else out there. So this is kind of a big thing. I don't want to go into it much more than that. If you feel like any one of those doors kind of provoked you and that you might be in the extremes there, I've got something very special for you at the end that we'll put in the comments and that type of thing. You'll be able to find us. But that's what I'm up to. I didn't want to do this. I'm enjoying everything else. We're doing fine with the coaching of businesses, the life I live, and stuff like that. But this constant poking at, hey, here's something else in front of you that's encouragement to go after this thing, whether it's a person or an event or what most would seem as a coincidence, um, whether it's a son-in-law asking me to review a presentation he's doing and that's sparking something. There's a lot that went into this. I'm going to share all that origin story with you if this is something that you're interested in. If you truly want to live a prosperous life, this life that seems fulfilling and joyful and good, um, it's worth at least taking a look. I don't pretend to think I have it all figured out, nor do I pretend to say that I am the guru of prosperity. What I do say is I've walked down the path a little bit. I've got some doors open that I want to help you walk through. And if you want to go further than that, great. Why am I doing this? I'm so sick of all the division and strife and anger and frustration, opinion, all those things that divide us as human beings. And what I'd really like to do is help people be more of heroes to each other. This idea of putting our own needs and our own wants secondary to the rest of the folks out there. I don't want to operate in a place of anger or frustration or being provoked because I don't agree or believe with somebody else. I want to help facilitate and offer ways to have better conversation and communicate with people and resolve conflict in a way that we have better understanding of each other. I think so many of us are living in this world that my good friend Reggie Brock gives a great analogy of. It's a mile wide, but an inch deep. This chasing of information and knowledge and all that other good stuff for like trying to get ahead when the reality is we have no depth. And when we don't have that depth, I think we're starved for it. I think our world right now is starved for something more than a 3-second clip or a 30-second reel or a minute long short or any of that kind of stuff. Like we're not, we're trapped in it, but it's not what we want. We want depth. We want understanding. That understanding gives us insight. And that's because I think truly inside each one of us, we seek wisdom. That seeking of wisdom allows us this ability to discern right from wrong and make the right choice more often that then allows us to take action and have impact that's valuable. I want to talk about these things. I want to dig in with these things. I want to uncover some things with each one of you so that you can work on your me so that you can be more valuable to we and them. We're going to do that through Prosperous Human. Those of you that have hung out this long and said, hey, what's this guy talking about? We have been hard at work these last 18 months. A lot of it introspection and clarity and conversation to get what was in my head down on something that was usable. Paper, or that's digital nowadays. Nobody uses paper anymore. But there was a lot of paper I went through to get here. But I got some clarity on these things. I got some uh, practical steps that we can take. And what I've done is I've created a course on the fundamentals of living a prosperous life. And it's free. We're not charging anything. We've got this cool platform that you can hop on. You can look it up. We'll have people, we'll be sharing out the link and all that other good stuff. But this is where you're going to find me now. I have decided, and this is why I'm doing this live, because when you do things live, whatever you say, you got to kind of be accountable to, and it's important to be a person of my word. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm leaving um, social media as we know it. This will be my last time to do a Facebook Live. Um, this will be the last time that I participate in traditional social media. Now, a Facebook Live might happen, but through a streaming device, but I will not be on Facebook to do it. But I'm not going to be um, personally involved on Facebook, social media, Instagram, TikTok, all that other stuff. I actually think it's one of the most dangerous things that's ever been created. And we as human beings are not well equipped to fight it. Some better than others. And so I'm not telling you you should or you shouldn't, but for me, I'm not able to fight it very well. It's almost like an addiction, like a drug that you see something, you react to it, and then you hope that your comment gets liked or valued or loved or whatever. You find something funny and you get lost in scrolling forever, and you find out, wow, I just lost 2 hours of my life, and what value did I get out of it? And then you feel guilt over it. And you're like, man, I know I shouldn't be doing that, but you're doing it because you're getting this dopamine hit that we all want and crave. And I believe there's other ways to do that. And so I'm out. Now, that doesn't mean you won't see anything from us. I'm still going to be creating content. My team will be curating and editing that content and putting it out in these places because I do believe that we should be a light unto the world. And I want to share this valuable information with you guys, but I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to be looking at all the other stuff that's out there. I'm literally going to, as soon as this live is over, take it off of my phone and get rid of it. It's going to go away. Now, where will I be? This is the part like I really want to get across to you guys. I'm going to exist on our platform, which we've built that on the school platform with a K, which drives my wife crazy. But that's where we'll be. I'll also be on a new media service, I think is the best way to. It's non algorithmic, there's no ads. It's just deeper conversation with highly intelligent, strong leaders that I can choose to follow or not follow, that comes in video or written form called Substack. You'll be able to find myself and what we're up to just by searching Prosperous Human. You can search Prosperous Human, go to YouTube, and we're there. We've already got some YouTube podcasts that are out there. More are planned. I'll be writing and creating content on Substack, videos for that to walk this path towards prosperity because I'm still in the journey too. I'm still learning and I need to learn from others and hopefully bring that to you. So there'll be a lot of reading, there'll be a lot of podcasts, there'll be a lot of being on podcasts and studying this area so that we can peel back the layers of the onion and get to the core of what allows us to live a prosperous life and facilitate um, maybe as many people as want to go there. Maybe it's only one or two of you. That's okay. If I can be a positive impact on a couple of people, that's great. If it's more than that, I'm leaving that up to God. I don't know what this is going to turn into. I just know I have to do it. I know that I have to do it in a way that allows me to live the lifestyle that I want. And because of that, I'm going to continue to coach a few clients, coach through our mastermind group that we have. And then I will also be writing and creating content for living a prosperous life. So if you want to connect with me, which is super cool on Substack, you can actually connect, follow, engage, and private message and dig in and ask questions. I want to strongly encourage you to spend time there. And that's, you can just look up Prosperous Human or Jim Johnson on Substack and probably find me. You'll also be able to do that on YouTube. And those are the places that we're going to be. Uh, I don't want to be on social media anymore. I think it's dangerous. I think it's bad for us. I think it disconnects us. I think it empowers us to do what humans do, which is push others down instead of lift others up. And I don't want to be in that space anymore. I don't want you to be in that space either. Maybe you have better willpower than me, because while I don't go out there and um, put negativity in the world, it still provokes me and I don't like it. So that's what I'm up to. That's where you'll find me. That's how we're going to facilitate this. And it's also why this, I feel I have to. I feel I must. I feel a responsibility. I put too much time, effort, and energy into this, and God's given me a gift to share with others, and I must. Even though this isn't what I want to do, I don't like seeing my face all over stuff. Um, I don't feel I'm worthy, but somebody does, or the questions wouldn't have been asked, the encouragement wouldn't have been given, and the um, calling that I feel on this wouldn't feel the way it does. So, guys, peace out. Love you all. I hope that you decide that, hey, this place that is Substack, I want to go dig in deeper in my life. I want to go check out YouTube and subscribe to it. I want to pass it along and share with others because that's the thing. Like, there's no charge for any of this. That whole course thing that we put together is 24 videos, and it walks you through a workbook of figuring out, if you're in the extremes, and then gives some guidance on what to do about it. We're going to let you guys tell us what to do next. Thank you very much. Go out there and be hero humans, live prosperously, and show through your actions and through your love and generosity and who you are what living prosperously looks like to others, so that they might ask you, hey, what is it that you're doing to live a good life? We'll see you around. I'll see you on Substack, and feel free to reach out to me. You can also email me, just so you know, jim@prosperoushuman.com. You can email me that way if you want to engage with me. Many of you have my cell number, and so feel free to continue to get me there. But I'm really pushing to get away from it. As a matter of fact, I found a tool that allows me to have all those messages and stuff that you might still be DMing me and PMing me and messaging and texting, all come into one place called Beeper. And now I don't have to go to those places that distract me and pull me away, because I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go study. I'm going to go get deep so that my life has more meaning, I have more value, and I can live prosperously by helping others live a prosperous life as well. Go out there, get after it, love one another, and be good humans.